they have cassava and other things. So when we're looking at the agricultural sector, you know that that's something that actually contributes to their GDP over there. And then it's surprising to know that with all that, looking at the population, they have more Muslims than Christians in that country.
True.
Even though one of the places that when you find yourself there, they have the biggest church in the world there. But then when you look at the culture, they respect tradition, they respect religion, regardless of what religion you belong to. You have the freedom to, freedom of movement and everything that you have to do there. You can tell because of how hardworking they are, it tells in the motto of the country, which is unity, labor, and discipline. So that means they are united. When you look at their, even though at a point in time they suffered one crisis, civil war or the other, I think the last was in 2002 or so, but then their economy have actually been stabilized so far. When you look at West Africa, they're one of the top people when it comes to production, when it comes to, rubbing shoulders. When it comes to economy, they're doing us well in this part of Africa, and that's really something we're proud of them. So when you find yourself, for those who just need somewhere to relax, even though, just like you mentioned, Yamoussoukro is their capital, but then it will shock you to know that most of the productions and most of the happenings, their seaports, is not even in the capital. You find it in Abidjan, which is another part or another place that when you find yourself in Africa, you should really, really, really visit. I know even while I was reading, I discovered that the name was stopped because that is where the name came from, and they were really, and in fact, it even tell in the name of their soccer team, the elephants, which is something that Africans don't play with. They are really, really proud of their soccer team because the soccer team have done them well. So the country is really a very nice place to actually be there. You're looking for quietness, busyness, for people who love busy places. Africa is a country I really, really tell people to go there. If you're somebody that loves culture and tradition, like I also do, you will really, really appreciate it when you find yourself in Africa.
Yeah, you're talking about natural resources, and then the mineral resources is exploited in Cote d'Ivoire, and then they said they have diamonds there, they have gold, and then they have deposits of irons, bauxite, and then manganese, and then they said they also exist all over there, and then but then it's developed, although they said iron is mined near Mount Nimba. When you're talking about gold and diamonds and all these things that they have, talking about one of their economy over there, what brings them income is the fact that they have they deal with all these natural resources, and then when they have chocolates, when they have to plant that always, and then when they have that, it gives them more money because they try to make use of it to sell it. And they said in every bar of chocolates you have, there's the cocoa is definitely from Ivory Coast. Stella, please don't
I didn't say anything.
Please, we're talking about what they have in Ivory Coast. And then yes, it was very interesting for me to just love that country because of chocolate. And so definitely,
so that means you're planning on moving to Ivory Coast just because of chocolate.
Chocolates, man.
There are other things. There are
other things, but at least chocolates. Even when you're lying down, you're eating chocolate. Even when you want to sleep, maybe you're thinking of just
to make out of cocoa. I mean, like you don't love tea.
I love tea, but then
you will be working at chocolate cakes. Tea. Why always?
Of course, but then when you're talking about chocolate, you can make chocolate. That's why I love chocolate cakes. Like Ivory Coast, that is what they do over there. And then having diamonds and golds and all of that, at least they have something that gives them income. Then so they're happy people. That country is safe for you to visit. Then when you talk about going to Ivory Coast, you know that you're safe. They say in as much as it's not the country is not safe, the world itself is not safe. There are places that you can go and then you feel something is happening, or you cannot go to that place because it's not safe. But then Ivory Coast, they said then they had issues because you can't just go there and say you just want to sit down there. They said there are places in which when you go, you just have to think of your safety. You need to tell yourself, I don't need to go to this place because maybe there are thefts, there are people just pickpockets and all of that. Maybe someone can just feel he wants to harm you or something. So then it's saying that when you find yourself in Ivory Coast, you need to ask questions. You need to ask people that are there to know where to go to and where not to go to in order to be safe. In order for you to know that whatever it is you're doing, you're safe, and then whatever it is you want to eat, you want to drink, wherever it is you want to go to, you need to know that this particular place I'm going to is okay for me, is good for me. In as much as you're a visitor, in as much as you're a tourist, you don't know anything about all these places, but then when you find yourself in Ivory Coast, because they are nice people, they are peaceful people, so once you talk to them, once you ask questions, or once you want to have an information about something, once you ask anybody in Ivory Coast, you will get to understand that, okay, fine, this person can actually help me, this person can do this, can do that. So then when you're talking about the religion over there, there's Islam and then there's Christianity. They said you have the largest church in the world. Like when I heard that, when I saw that, I was so excited. Because to think they have the largest in the whole world, like it's something to just
really. When I looked at the church, I mean, it's quite big. And it said it will take over a population of over 18,000 people.
Whoa.
Even though it has never been filled to that level,
yeah.
but then you could tell how big, if 18,000 people can be in a church. And that's one of the places, especially tourists, when they actually find themselves in Ivory Coast, they try to see the place. And you know, one interesting fact about Ivory Coast is the fact that they had their independence the same year Nigeria had theirs in 1960. So you could tell that Nigeria and Ivory Coast were actually age mates, permit me to use that when it comes to the independence. So you could tell that they have really gone through a lot, even though we're still looking at part of the things you go there that can even relate us to their economic, what brings in when it comes to, you mentioned the gold, you mentioned the diamonds they have there, and the fact that we said when it comes to cocoa, the produce is high. And even when it comes to cashew nuts, they are one of the highest producers. I know somebody that's behind the camera that love cashew nuts.
I'm aware.
So I'm aware of it. Cashew nuts roasted. You can take it. There are oil in it. You could also have cashew butter for those who love it. So you could tell there are lots of things you could use the cashew nuts for. So, and it's another thing that actually contributes to their economy over there. I know, even though with all that we're saying and with what they've gone through, in 2020, I mean, most of the countries in the world actually went through, when it comes to the COVID, as a result of the COVID, lots of economy went down, inflation rates here and there, but they're trying to boost up. So when you go there, even though it's still developing, because when I was looking at it, it's more like it's a home to me, because you could actually relate there. Even when you go down to the mills they have there, since they have cassava, you could actually, for those who love fufu a lot, those who love gari, so it's something that when you go there, especially if you're from this part of Africa, you can actually blend in immediately there. So it's a country that, I mean, lots of people troop in there. When it comes to even tourism, it contributes to their GDP there, because people just want to have a look of it, especially the bridges that are in Abidjan. You could see that they are beautiful bridges, and you know, it was even given an award looking at one of the UNESCO that you could look at. So you could tell that there are a lot for you to see, to enjoy the culture, the traditions, and even the weather there, because there are other countries around there, Ghana, Guinea Bissau, and other countries are around the country, so you can have a feel of it. So the country is really a country that you will really love. When you look at the economy, it's really something that they're stabilizing. So it's something for someone to just go there, enjoy it. The beach sands that are there, lots of it. You know, one of the things I saw there's this thing they call the sand dollar. For someone who when you hear about it, look like we're looking at the currency, but it's like a sea animal that is found there, and it looks very great. So it's one of the unusual things when you go there, even though you have to dig deep if you want to have a feel of what that that's a sand dollar look like. For those who are around there, you could really enjoy it. So it's really a very great country, actually.
Yeah, of course, when you're talking about the economy over there and all the things they do and their income, we're going to talk about their agriculture, their forestry and fishing. You know, they have a lot of things they do over there. Like you're saying, when you talk about Ivory Coast, it's home to you because it's welcoming, and then with the kind of food they have there, of course, you cannot say you're traveling to a place and then you don't know the kind of food they eat there. You don't know how you're going to adapt to that kind of food, and then you don't know your system. So of course you need to understand what they eat there and all of that, so you know that when you go there you can eat anything, that whatever it is you eat there, you know it's not going to affect you, you're not going to have issues with it. And then so we're talking about Ivory Coast being the world's largest exporter of cocoa, and then said they use it for chocolate and the rest of the things they use it for. They said their agriculture provides a livelihood for more than half the labor force, and locally grown subsistence crops meet most rural domestic needs. Like like they plant a lot of things over there in Ivory Coast, like the cocoa beans. They said they became the main export of crop. They said they cultivated by more than 1/4 of the population. They said is by late 1980s, after overtaking Ghana in cocoa bean exports, Cote d'Ivoire became the world's leading cocoa bean producer. We said that, and then it's interesting to know that is something to identify a particular country with, to know that they are the largest producers of cocoa and then cocoa beans, and then you can make coffee with it. You have chocolate cakes, you have chocolates normally you can just have, and then all of those things. And then said, oh, the local coffee is of low quality, and then they said it constitutes it's safe for investment. You can actually use it to invest and do all sorts of things, and then you enjoy the privilege and then the positions on the French market because of low production cost and much publicity. They said thousands of acres and close to the sea have been planted with coconut trees to increase the production of cobra, the dried kernel from which coconut oil is extracted. The same area is also suitable for pineapples, a valuable export crop. Like they have a lot of things they do there, like the crops of what they plant and then all what they get over there. Like, it's interesting to know that all of these things happen in a particular place. When you're talking about Abidjan is part of Ivory Coast, and then some were saying is another capital, but then since it has the largest of the people there, the citizens over there stay in Abidjan instead of the main capital as it is, and then like they're enjoying whatever it is that is there. The life over there is more interesting, like all the things they do there. And I think the largest church is in Abidjan, right? And then so you see, like they have a lot of things they do over there. They enjoy everything they are doing. It's peaceful, it's safe. And then for you to know that for you to have peace of mind is an interesting thing for you to know, and then for you to be in a particular place to know that, okay, whatever it is that's happening here is for your own good. Whatever it is that is happening here is for whatever it is that's happening is what you're going to achieve. So in case if you're having plans of going anywhere, you just want to go and have fun, or you feel you want to go home away from home, let me say that, then Ivory Coast is one of the places you can go because of the food, their productions over there, the cocoa, and then the cocoa beans, and then everything that they do over there is actually good for you because is in West Africa. So it's something for you to just say is an interesting place for you to go, for you to have a taste of everything they do there, and then the kind of life they live over there. They have their culture, they obey they have a very good culture over there, let me say. And then the way they celebrate their festive periods and all of that, like they enjoy doing everything they do. It's something that you should actually say is interesting for you to say, okay, you want to go there, you want to explore it, you want to have fun, you want to go on a tourist side, and then go to maybe a site for you to just go and sit, relax, and have fun and do everything that is possible for you. So we're talking about their agriculture, forestry, and fishing is what they have, as well as another source of their income again. So you see, when we're talking about all these things, and then they said they have thousands of things that they grow over there, and then it helps them to bring out other things just to make money and just to make income and just to try to feed other people, because they welcome visitors a lot. So you just need to know that even if you go there as a visitor, you're safe to go there. They speak a lot of languages there. They said it's a multilingual country. Then apart from French, they speak English and other parts of the other languages. And then anywhere you go to, even if you say you can't speak French, at least there are people that can speak English with you over there. There are people you can actually talk to. At least you're not going to be missed. You will not get lost in maybe communicating with anybody over there.
So, one of the things I love is the fact that they're happy people. I mean, you could see when you're talking about their traditions and festivals, one of the things I love is the festival of Max, which later on we'll see, It's interesting when you get to see some certain rituals that they have there. The fact that, yes, they're being colonized by the French people, but they have something that is peculiar to them as Africans, their traditions, their cultures, we respect. Like things we keep because we need to pass it to our children. We need to preserve our traditions so that in days to come they will not say certain language have actually gone in extinct because we don't speak the languages or because we don't communicate. And I love the fact that despite the fact that they have their official language, they make sure that they maintain their mother tongue, they pass it. And this is one of the languages you find them their own indigenous language is what you will find them speaking. So when it comes to official places, maybe the embassy, that's where you see them speaking those languages. And when you're looking at the agricultural sector and things, one of the interesting things I love is that when you find yourself in the marketplace, they learn to negotiate and bargain. Because don't feel that you're a big man or a big woman when you get there to their market. You just mention money. There's this tradition they have, negotiating. So when you're being told that this particular fish is CAF France, you have to what, bargain and negotiate with that. You know that, okay, yes, next time when she comes to the market. So it's something for tourists. When you go there, you just want to buy one or two things. Don't feel, because later when they see you, they might overcharge you. So they just feel this way of, I think it's a way of connecting. So tend to bargain, you know, with them there and there. And the market, I love it because it reminds me so much of home over here, because it looks so much like just like you said, home away from home. You have the feeling that I'm at home. It's not so far away. For people who do not like somewhere outside their own home, especially us here in the West Africa, it's a country for you to visit. And you know, when we're looking at the agricultural sector and all that, we cannot do without talking about the education, because education is vital. Education is important, and they made education free and compulsory. Like most of the countries we've been looking at so far, make sure that education is basic, because without the education, we can't have the infrastructures there. We can't have everything. So it's one of the midday things they do there. Schooling is very, very important. So even though you will not say you want to further to up there, but at least the first primary and secondary school should be there, because it's mandatory that you obtain that certificate so that you could actually, you know, talk about it. I know you said the civil war that which I spoke about in 2002 that impacted most of the thing. I think it affected the economy, the schooling, and every other thing. But just like you said, right now it's peaceful. So for people who want to travel to Africa, you can visit there, have a feel of it, see what they do there, how you can blend in. They are welcoming lots of people. They are welcoming people. Africans, we are welcoming. So whenever you find yourself in Africa, just try and mingle, you know. Talk to people when it comes to what you want to know. Ask questions. Just like we said, like every other country, they have their rules, they have things. So you ask questions what you should do and what you should not do, so you not be found wanting by the authorities for doing things that are not expected of you to be done there.
Yeah, we're still talking about Ivory Coast, and it's an interesting country and it's a beautiful place to go to. As we said, it's a peaceful place. So when you think you want to go somewhere just for peace, you can go to Ivory Coast. At least it's in West Africa. It's close to you, it's home, so you can just go there, have fun, and then do everything that you ought to do. And then yes, we're going to go to the typical food over there. You know, when you talk about home away from home, talk about Ivory Coast, like everything there they have is something that we Africans actually have as well, and then we eat as well. So when you go to Ivory Coast, they have a lot of things over there, but they were just going to take few of them that we're going to just see. And then they said most Ivorians, they depend on grain and roots vegetables, yams, plantains, maize, rice, peanuts, wheat, fufu. That is the national dish. So talking about fufu, because you know, like a lot of people eat fufu, of course. Somebody like me, I don't, but I know so many people that do that, that have that, and they so enjoy it. And then I think I once had it twice, or I think twice, but then I didn't really like it. But then it's actually good for
maybe
people.
It was a soup. If you get a good soup, that
I think so.
I get a chilled water or maybe a juice to push it down. You will really love the experience.
You have plans, Sele.
For lunch, it will be nice.
Of course, I can see that. Yeah, and then they said that's their national dish. So it's actually interesting to know that they actually have fufu with all these things. Then it's interesting, you know.
And I think another food that they have there is the canidor and okra. And they said they are usually served with meat, often chicken and fish, which are their favorite. And then they have the vegetable sauce that is made up of agrigine, that is okra, tomatoes, and peanuts. So these are things that you can actually find within your reach. So even if you cannot go to Africa, you can actually bring it home. I always mention the fact that some of these ingredients are not far away from you. You could just dash into the market and just look for the recipe. YouTube is there. You just ask how you can prepare some of these meals. And then before you realize it, you're having your meal wherever you are. So if you cannot have the opportunity of finding yourself or going to Africa, I think the best thing is just get into there and prepare all these things.
Google is your friend. So YouTube is your friend. You can just check it over there, and then you can just prepare anything you want to prepare. You can just check all these things and then you prepare it yourself. You don't need to travel to all these places just because you want to eat all these things. They said they have another meal over there. They have the atike, and then said it's similar to couscous and made from grated cassava. It is is a popular side dish. So it's more like it's something you can have maybe on a later time, or maybe food, maybe when you finish eating something, you can just have like a dessert or something. For them, the side is a side dish. Then it's more like couscous. It's made from cassava. So of course, when you talk about couscous, it's something that you're used to eating here. So even if you go there, you will not find it difficult to actually eat that, or you think maybe the process in which they make theirs is different, but you can actually still learn. That is why you need to exploit all these things. You need to understand all these things, because we're talking about food which goes into your belly. So it's something that you can't starve yourself when you travel out, of course, and then you say you can't eat that. You can't. I think I have a cousin one time that traveled to a particular country, and he was like, he cannot eat this kind of food. Like, he was starving. He starved himself for like 5 days. He was just drinking water, and then later he just told himself, okay, I can try this, that I can eat this one, I can eat that one. And then gradually he started eating, and then now like he's good at all the things they eat over there. So it's very simple. When you find yourself in Ivory Coast or any country of your choice, and then you feel their food is not good for you, there's a way you can eat it. There's a way you can actually prepare it. There's a way, maybe you can say, okay, maybe it was not done the way you're used to, or the way you know it. There's a way you can actually do that, and then you end up eating the right thing. You end up not harming yourself, and then making it look like, okay, you're eating poison or something. So it's good for you to understand how to prepare all these things, and then how you even eat it, and how you should serve it, and all of that.
You know, one thing I love about them over there is that it's not just about the meal, but it's about the way it brings them together.
Yeah.
Because they have this tradition of eating together, because the way of uniting you, tend to know, and you could actually tell from their motto, unity. So they just want to unite. So regardless of what they do, whether it's in the educational sector, even in the way they eat, they took that virtue down to their eating habit. And one of the key ingredients you'll find in their food is vegetables, and they have this hot pepper that is flavored. So for people that love pepper, I know somebody that loves pepper a lot. You cannot eat her meal without so much pepper in that. So it's really, I think that would be a country for her. So we'll actually join her with the person that loves cashew nuts. Join them together and send them to her, because, you know, because
at least
it's
a
really,
lot of things that she likes. So at least I think
she will love the flavor, you know. It's not just about the pepperish taste, but the flavor.
Yeah.
So it's really something when you find yourself there. Vegetable sauce, you could actually see from even the fufu, the even the couscous we're talking about. That's another meal you could actually find yourself there. In every of those meals, there definitely vegetables and sauce to push down whatever meal you're eating there. So when you find yourself, even if you can't eat a particular meal, you can actually try the sauce and your stew over there. Just have a feel of what it feels like, how their meal is, because to them they feel that you're actually accepting them the way they are when you have a taste of their meal. And that's why they go as far as inviting visitors over just to have a meal. They just want to get to know you. It's a way of knowing you. It's a time for sharing. So when you go there, don't make them feel or don't make people feel that you're trying to be away from them. They want to feel you being connected to them. So just have a feel of their meals. If you cannot eat one, you can actually try another.
You know, when you're talking about unity, you know they are united, and then so that's why most times they try to invite you to their house, even if they don't really know you, but at least to just give you that to make you feel you're at home, to make you feel you're accepted. They give you their meal, and then for them to actually, you know, there are some particular places in the country where they welcome you, and then there's a particular meal they give to you. It shows that they've welcomed you into their home. It shows that, okay, they've accepted you, they love you, and all of that. If they don't give that, it means you're not welcome in that. So you should know that you're not supposed to come here, you're not supposed to be here. Then when you're talking about, they have the local over there, they talk about ginger, and they said it's a little sweeter over there, more than water, and then they have their local favorite drinks over there. So you cannot say you go to a particular country and they don't have a particular drink. There must be something they're known for. There must be something that they can actually give to you. In as much as they welcome you to their house, maybe they can give you water. You know, there are places where you go to, once you enter the house, the first thing they serve you is water, which I feel it is welcoming, because it's more like, okay, even if that person, you don't know where that person is coming from, you don't know, maybe that person really needs that water, before you even give him food, first of all, you serve him water. So it's more like something that they do over there, which is one of their culture, something that they actually accept, something that they can actually work with, something that is actually good for them. So when they see you, they welcome you, they give you water, they serve you, they welcome you well, because they are peaceful people, they are united. So that is why they do all those. And we are talking about their marketplace. They said their outdoor markets, the street vendors, and the local places where they go to. They said the restaurant unique is in Cote d'Ivoire, and then the best places to sample your local food, the marks, and then are reasonably priced and can be found throughout the country. So anywhere you go to in their markets, anything you want, you will find it. That's why you are talking about negotiating. You know, when you get something you want to buy, you don't need to feel, okay, maybe the price they gave to me, maybe it's too high, I can't afford it. Or maybe, okay, they just told me, but let me just afford it. No, you can actually bargain. It shows that you're conversing with them. It means you're actually talking to them. You know, it's welcoming for you to talk to somebody. They don't just feel like you don't like them, or maybe because you feel you're a visitor, or maybe you just came to the market, you cannot converse with them because you're a rich person and then they are just people selling things in the market, like they don't have anything. So when you converse with them, when you have this communication with them, like you're laughing with them, you know, you can just crack a joke and then just say something. You can just laugh, you talk before you buy that thing. Even when you buy that thing and you leave, they end up becoming very happy. You understand? Like, I know what it feels when I try to buy something from somebody and then maybe we have this conversation and then we start laughing before you buy that thing. You leave that person with a thought in his head. Okay, this person is actually nice. This person is actually good. Maybe he'll tell our customer, I'll come back later. You mean, like, you know, it's something interesting for you to know. So they over there, they are united. They are loving people. They are peaceful people. So once you go to their market over there, you know that once you find yourself talking to one particular person, they don't really frown at it or maybe think maybe you are not a nice person or something. Once you go there, you talk to them peacefully, you afford what you want to do, you take it home, and then even you're happy because you made someone happy. So it's very good for you to put a smile on someone's face. It doesn't matter. It could be that maybe you don't even buy, maybe you were not able to buy that thing, but at least you can just leave that person with a big smile on his face. Maybe that person is even going through a lot. Maybe he has issues, maybe family issues, maybe health issues, or maybe something might be wrong with that person. But then once you leave that person with a smile, that person will think twice. Maybe that person is even thinking of giving up. You don't know. So at least maybe when you talk to that person, you crack jokes, you buy what you want to buy, and you leave. You put a smile on people's faces.
Yeah, very true. You know, and you know, I've been talking about their traditions and their cultures over there, and we talk about the negotiation and bargaining. Another thing is that when you, like, during eating, you find out that the boys eat separately, especially in the local area, the rural area. The boys eat separately, the women eat separately. And once a meal is being prepared there, I found this very, very interesting, that the eldest person in the village tend to test it first before any other person to, whether the food is sour or it's contaminated. So it's a way of like protecting the younger generation. Why don't I, the eldest, taste whatever you did? And we mostly see this thing, especially here in Africa. I think it's just the belief over time that we've taken it and it's still working up till now. It's kind of the culture and the traditions we find ourselves. So mostly when you find yourself in Africa, don't feel bad when you find an elderly person eating first before the younger generation. It's just their tradition, it's just their way of living. So you just have to learn to blend with them, and also just ask one or two to know more about why do they eat separately and in the same dish. You know, there's this love when you all eat together, especially for those of us that love going back to the village during festive season. When you sit together with your cousins and every other person, you eat together. It's a way of, that's when you tend to talk about how your days are, you know, even though I think that's where we disregard all these table manners, because that is when we want to talk about everything that happened to us throughout the day, what we did, how the entire day has been before we got for, you know, sitting down together. So I think it's just a way of connecting. So when you find yourself there, don't feel that they're eating, they're talking, and it's kind of, it's just a way of connecting. It's just a way of, you know, showing the unity they have. At the same time, they are very disciplined in that country. There are things that they make sure that they are adhered to. There are rules, there are customs that is peculiar to them. So when you find yourself in Africa, you respect it. Just like we mentioned the fact that even though Abidjan is not their capital, but the biggest seaport is there in Abidjan, and you find that it's even the biggest, because they said they have the second largest port in Africa. So imagine the whole of Africa, they have that biggest port. So you know that there's so much you could learn when you find yourself in Africa. So don't feel that it's because it's in an African country, West African country, it's still developing. There's nothing. You'll be shocked to realize that there are lots of things. And another tradition I got to discover, they have this fishing tradition. Definitely you could tell because they are around the seaport. So you could tell that there are lots of fishes there. So when you even find yourself in the market, there are lots of fishes for you to buy. Very big, beautiful ones. For those who love fish, like I do.
Like I do too.
Definitely. So you find that, and they're very good prices
Of
too,
course.
very good prices, and that's why you could actually negotiate if you find whatever it is you want. So there are cultures that are beautiful about that. So when you find yourself, you could do that. Whatever they celebrate there, if you find yourself in a Christian village or in a Christian region, you celebrate with them. There are other things that they do, you celebrate with them. Just make them know that you accept their tradition, you accept their practice and their culture and what they love doing.
Yeah, you know, they're talking about Ivory Coast. The Ivorians are generous and hospitable people who enjoy inviting others to join them for a meal. They believe that those who are blessed enough to be able to prepare a meal should share their food fortune with others. And then you see, it's actually something like, it's interesting for you to know that if you can afford a meal, you can invite someone. You know, sometimes I feel if I have something and I know I can give it to this person, why not give it to this person to put a smile on his face? For them to do that, it shows that they love each other. It shows that they understand when there is and when there is not. If you have something to give someone, you give to. If you don't have, you know, okay, yes, you don't have, then you cannot give that person. But so far as you can afford to prepare a meal in your house, it's more like it's a tradition for them that when you prepare this, they've set it to be something that if you know that you can actually do this thing, then you can actually help someone else. You can actually give it to someone to feel, okay, fine. Someone can be sitting and then don't even have anything to eat. But so far as you know you can, you give it to the person, just put a smile on that person's face. He said is in a typical village, he said all the villagers will gather to eat in the common area because eating not only feeds the body, it unites people with a community spirit. That was what you said earlier. You know, when you're talking about having unity with people, that is one of their rules over there. That is something that they know how to do. They unite with each other. Even if you're not from, you just have to be part of them. Even if you're just coming, you're going to stay for a day, they're united, they are peaceful. Everything they do over there is according to their, they keep to it, they work on it, and then they do everything they can do just to keep them. So it said it is rude to reach across the table for food, and coughing and sneezing at the table is frowned upon. So it's more like it's supposed to be something you should know. You don't even need anybody to tell you. If you want to cough or you want to sneeze, you need to excuse yourself. So
the
then
etiquettes.
it's an etiquette that you need to work with. You don't need to just show yourself that, okay, you don't need to be rude. He said it's frowned at. So definitely if you want to cough and then they're about it, even when someone is not eating and you want to cough, you need to excuse yourself. So you cough properly and then you need to cover your mouth while coughing. So you don't just make it look like you're just trying to cough into the food or something. So he said they frown at it. So it's something that you need to work on. If someone out there thinks maybe coughing is a normal thing, or maybe you can just cough and sneeze in front of people, it's actually not normal because someone cannot feel comfortable. Someone can feel is irritated. You understand? Somebody like me, you can't just sneeze in front of me like on my face like that. It doesn't make sense. You understand? So then that is why they said it is frowned at over there in Ivory Coast.
It's good that we learn certain etiquettes of every tradition, of every place we find ourselves. That's why I say you need to ask questions. You don't just go somewhere and then, I mean, manners is expected that when you have common manners, they expect that when coughing, you cover your mouth. So just like I said, you ask questions about what should I do, what should I not do. When you find yourself there, just like we said, it's not just about eating, it's about connecting with spirit. So you know that this connection means a lot to them. So when you find yourself there, you learn the manners, you learn etiquettes, because there are etiquettes that are peculiar to every tradition. There are etiquettes that are peculiar to everybody. We just mentioned the fact that elderly person eats first there to be sure. So in another place, that's not the way they do things. So when you find yourself in a particular place, you ask questions, how can I do all the whys, the hows. You tend to know all those things because it's important. And another thing I love about the country is that they have this driving force. When they set their mind to something, they make sure that they achieve it. And I mentioned earlier the fact that they're very proud of their soccer team. For our football lovers, you know, Drogba, he's somebody that you could actually associate with that. So many things, because he has done them well in that country. So it's a name that is like more like a figure name, very named for you to associate yourself with. So it's one of the things that they love themselves about it, and they love their soccer team. They stand by their footballers, and just like I said, they tend to look like they're the elephant nation. For those who love safari, you can actually see lots of that. They see lots of beautiful elephants over there for people that love the elephants. So it's really something for you to go. You just tend to feel at home when you find yourself there. Just importantly, you learn their etiquettes. When you find yourself, how do they behave? How do they greet? Do they squat while greeting elderly people? You ask all these questions so that when do they greet with left or right hand? I mean, we looked at various etiquettes of various countries, so it's important that we also learn here. And they said one of the things is that Ivorians always greet each other and they inquire about the person's health, family, or work. Just like we mentioned about when the last country we went to, which was Algeria, where we said it will be shocking to see that for the next 30 minutes, people are still holding hands. They want to know everything, like how is work, how is your health, how is your mom, they want to know everything about you on meeting you for the first time. For someone might feel overbearing, hearing all these questions.
Someone like me is too much. Like,
you don't like talking?
No, please, I don't know you. So like, you don't need to ask extra questions. Yeah, you just need to, okay, how are you doing, where are you from, and stuff like that. But then the extra questions are, I think I get irritated by that. They start asking you personal questions like this, like that. Like, it's not, I don't really like that too. For me though, that's what I think, that's what I know. Like, I don't like extra questions. Once I'm meeting you for the first time, you don't need to ask me extra questions. Just ask the basic questions like, how are you, how are you doing, how is your health, your family, your mom, your dad, and that's all.
Those are the basic questions that
someone can just ask you, who is your boyfriend, or who is your husband, or how did you get married, or something like that.
Funny enough, when you find yourself in Africa, they consider that to be very rude. You don't just ask. There are certain like, you don't transact business when you meet somebody for the first time. You don't just ask some certain questions that people feel are personal to them.
That's right.
Even though this is the way things are done, but there are exceptions to certain things. So someone might not feel comfortable even telling you about his or her health. You might feel that it's okay to say, how are you? But you just need to know the way they relate there. Because it's just a way of, I'm concerned about you. I just want to know about you. You're coming here for the first time. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to enjoy your stay here. So that, after staying in Africa and you're living there, you should live with a very good impression of the people over there. So they feel by asking you all these vital questions is a way of let's connect. So even when you're not there, you could actually, chat on, we have all our social media platforms. You get to, mingle with people. Okay, I've connected with a friend I actually found in Africa. We have almost, if you're from this part of West Africa, we have some basic things we share that are common to us when it comes to etiquette and asking certain things. So you actually find a friend in them. They are very friendly people. You definitely find a friend when you find yourself in Africa. So you don't need to be afraid or timid or feel irritated by certain questions. They're just concerned and they want to bond with you. So don't feel irritated when they ask you certain questions.
Yeah, when you're talking about the etiquette over there, they said that if you meet in social functions, like when you need to say hi to each other, you shake hands, and even when you're leaving that same place, it could be that you came there to meet someone, you guys had maybe a little conversation, you guys sat together and all of that. If that person is leaving, we have to shake you and then tell you, okay, I'm leaving and all of that. At least you need to talk to each other, to understand each other, not just leave rudely. They consider it being rude when you meet someone somewhere and then you just tend to leave without even saying goodbye to the person. And so they don't maintain eye contact, especially a son and his father, or a daughter and her father, or a mother. Like somebody like me, once I know you are older than me, even if I don't do anything wrong, I don't like eye contact. That's the truth.
People are different actually when it comes to that. I know, especially us here in Africa, if your mom is talking to you and she wants to know you're lying, she'll tell you, look at me.
But then I just feel like I can't.
No, definitely. It's because naturally in Africa, it's disrespectful for you to look at an elderly person straight into the eyes. You're trying to
what they do, and then what they eat, and then their etiquette and their economy and all of that. We've not said anything about places to visit, their tourist sites and all of that. At least it's something for you to know. Even if you go there for just a week, at least you should just visit a particular place, even if it's just for one day, just to have fun, and then you live there. So talking about that, we will have some places to visit in Ivory Coast. And then the first place to visit, said he explored the Yamoussoukro, which is the capital of Ivory Coast. And then so they said here that Côte d'Ivoire city is known for the Basilica, Presidential Palace, and Grand Mosque. He said the Ivorian capital is the top choice destination for foodies. This charming West African city will appeal to families as well as history buffs, culture and architecture lovers, and Instagrammers. So when you're talking about all this, I just smiled at a particular part here where he's saying that you had the city will appeal families as well as history buffs, and then culture, architecture lovers, and Instagrammers. Like, you need to, when you find yourself in that place, you know that this is what you need to do there. You need to relax in that place. They said it's more like one of the expensive sites of it. When you talk about presidential palace, like when you find yourself in that place, you know the kind of things you find. When you talk about palace, you know what you find in that place, you know how beautiful that place, you know how expensive that place is. So once you visit that place, you know that you're going to have a lot of things to see, to even take if possible. So then when you're talking about one of the places to visit, when you find yourself in Ivory Coast, explore Yamoussoukro is one of the places.
Yeah, and one thing I love is that the fact that it's even the capital. The big boys don't live there.
You get the big boys.
Those people who are rich don't even live there in the capital. You find most of them in Abidjan. And earlier on, I made a mistake when I said that you could actually find the biggest church in Abidjan. It's actually found in the capital, which is Yamoussoukro. That is where you could find the biggest church, and it's the Basilica of Our Lady of Peace. And so it's probably one of the most beautiful churches in Africa, one of the biggest sightseeing in Cote d'Ivoire, one of the most famous landmarks in the country according to the Guinness Book of Records. And the Basilica is the largest church in the world. I mean, they said the church is very, very beautiful. When they said the most beautiful in Africa, when I was looking at that church, I mean, it's breathtaking. It's so beautiful. Like,
just imagine worshiping
the money that was used to build that church. Wow, I mean, that church is beautiful. I mean, it tends to even make you feel at home. It tends to give you a feel of how it will look like when we finally leave this world to be in heaven again. And that's why I think the other part that is not taken by the take a visit to the Lady of Our Peace Church there. It's a beautiful, beautiful church. And it's one of the things, like earlier when we were saying that for Instagrammers, for those who love to be on Instagram, you go actually take that, you visit the palace, you snap that, post it on Instagram, have a feel, because I know especially when during our tour, especially we love taking pictures just to let people know that this is where I am, live records right there, so it's something you could do there. You could see people coming in and out of that church daily, for tourists especially, just to have a feel of there. So people even tend to make there like a pilgrimage where you go there, pray and believe that certain requests or your wish will be granted. It's somewhere that when you find yourself in Africa, just take a visit to the Lady of Our Peace Church there
and just have fun and pray to God. Yes, another place we have here, we have the Musi National Disc Costumes. They said this museum houses historical artifacts of the Ivorians, from their clothes, crafts, and ancient costumes of the different peoples that make up the country. They said this museum houses most of it. It was built in 1981 and is a wonderful place to get acquainted with the various Ivorian cultures. So in case you want to know about the culture of Ivorians, once you find yourself there, you just need to go to this national disc costumes, and then whatever it is you're looking for, you will get it over there. Whatever it is you want for history, for you to get to know about Ivorians and whatever it is they've done and they're still doing, this is one of the places you should find yourself in. And then you should just know that you're going to take notes of it, snap pictures, at least so that you can just have the history with you as well, so you can have something to tell people outside.
Exactly. Another place that I think I would love is the trip to the Man. When I heard the name first, Man, I was wondering, like, man, where is that? Is it a man, like the male
man, like
gender, male man, or what is it? But actually it's a place full of, I mean, there's fun actually there. When you talk about their market, it's a busy area actually. You find people buying, selling, things are happening over there in Man, and it's actually one of the places basic. I mean, a trip to Man is actually a very nice, but just a day is enough for you to go around the marketplaces, visit one of the sporting areas in Africa. So you don't need to go to the stuff in Africa and really enjoy the sightseeing there and lots of the activities that happen there too.
Simple. Yeah. And then we have visit beaches in Grand Bassam. So I said, looking for a dream beach, romantic beach getaway. I said the beautiful and stunning beaches of Grand Bassam is the destination. Grand Bassam is an Ivorian resort town filled with idyllic beaches stretching along the Atlantic coastline. Visitors can enjoy the Grand Bassam. We highly recommend. So this is just one part that is interesting, that once you want to go to the beach, maybe just to sit for a holiday, like maybe honeymoon, or maybe just for yourself alone, you can just go there. It is a place to be. And then of course, if you want to go to a place to be, you should find yourself there in the Grand Bassam, and then it's something that is remarkable because it's warm. And then once you're in it, like, don't you think you just need to have that time out for yourself, at least not to even think of all the problems you have, all the things that is bothering you.
Enjoy it and enjoy it well. And we've been talking about Abidjan, that even though it's not the capital, but it's actually fun have, and it's a surprised that it's even the largest part in that structure. If you're talking about architecture, you find beautiful houses there. You're talking about mansions, you find it there. There are still buildings that are coming up. So it tends to be that there's even an area that is actually look like it's one of the richest areas there. So when you find yourself there, you can actually just, feed your eyes with French cultural influence on the city, from the fashion to the restaurant. Abidjan is a must for any visitor to that beautiful country. So when you find yourself, at least visit Abidjan. Just have a feel of that French culture that was there before finally they got their, when they got their independence. So you know that you could actually even be there when they're celebrating their independence, because they celebrate their independence every 7th of August there. So you could just have a feeling. So that means they had their independence about 2 or 3 months before we had ours here in Nigeria. So you could know that it's a country that we actually that have so much for you. So if you love for fun lovers, fashion, find yourself in Abidjan, and really there are lots of things for you to take in, breathtaking places.
You can never say you're in Ivory Coast and then you're not having fun, or you're not achieving something, or you're not just getting something that is going to make you excited. So like when you're talking about everything about Ivory Coast, they have a rich and diverse cultural heritage. They said Ivory Coast has a rich cultural heritage with more than 60 ethnic groups, and then that is how they've counted all of them. And then the mostly in the northeast, the Koro in the south center, southwest, and the Mande in the northwest, in north center part of the country. So the local communities are very welcoming to tourists. So like they offer traditional ceremonies, arts, crafts, food, dances, so that visitors can discover the rich and diverse cultural heritage of Ivory Coast. The Western Ivory Coast is extremely rich of its culture and traditions. The dances and marks exhibited in this specific region of the country. Then you said we were talking about the mask wearing and all of that. It's fun. Like you don't even know, just have fun. Like the dances, and then all the things, you're not left out. That is how they welcome visitors, and they make you feel you're wanted. They make you feel everything happening over there is for you. So they don't just show you that they don't like you, or don't just show you that you're not supposed to be here, or they don't just show you that this place is not for you, but then they show you love. They're peaceful people, they are polite people, they're respectful, they respect everything about them in that place.
Yeah, and I love the fact that, talking about places and things that you need to do there. I mean, we can talk about Ivory Coast without talking about Mount Nimba, because it's one of the beautiful places. Because earlier we spoke about the natural resources, and most of the iron ore that is being found there is on that Mount Nimba. So I think it's a place that also for tourists, you can actually, if you can, take a tour down to that place. There are lots of forests around there. You tend to appreciate even the sand dollar we spoke about that is by the beaches, the forest there. You tend to enjoy it and even have a feel of that, because it's one of the beautiful things you could actually see there in Ivory Coast.
Yeah, I think this is where we have to stop for today. And then this is actually sad, because it's becoming more interesting talking about Ivory Coast and then all the things they do there. Then so thank you, Celia, for doing this with
My
me.
pleasure.
And I always want to do this with you every time. So to our viewers, we say a very big thank you for staying with us, for viewing, and for understanding that we visited Ivory Coast today. Thank you for going on that tour with us. And then we're trying to tell you that by next week we have another interesting country we're going to. In case you have a suggestion of a country you want us to visit, try and tell us, send it to us on our group chats and all of that, and we'll tend to take it or think about it, and then we'll go with you to any country you want to go to. Thank you to the ECWA executives for giving us this great opportunity every day to preach the gospel and to talk about love and understanding and everything that is happening around the world. Thank you to everyone, the crew and everybody in ECWA Television. Stay with us and don't go anywhere. We have so much interesting activities. We have shows and all of that. Don't